Good morning, viewers. In this tutorial, we will demonstrate you the creation of sales contract in SAP. Let's have a look on all the points that we need to create sales contract. Before we get into the details on how to start with sales contract in SAP, let's understand what is sales contract in the next slide. In SAP, a sales contract is a legally binding agreement between a company and a customer that outlines the terms and conditions of a sale. It is used to define the pricing, quantity, and delivery schedule for products or services that a customer has agreed to purchase from the company. Overall, sales contracts in SAP provide an efficient way for companies to manage their sales agreements with customers, improve their sales order processing, and streamline their invoicing and delivery processes. Let's have a look into the creation of a sales contract in the next slide.
You create a contract document in SAP using transaction code VA41, or you can follow the menu path Logistics, Sales and Distribution, Sales Contract, Create. A contract can be made for both products and services. A contract document does not include a timetable line or required delivery date, in contrast to a sales order. The valid from and valid to fields located at the header level on the contract entry screen are used to maintain the validity of the contract. The contract validity can be maintained at the header level, and it will then be valid for the entire document. Now let's get into the flow steps of sales contract in the next slide.
SAP flow steps are 1. Create sales quantity contract. 2. Create release orders for quantity contract. 3. Delivery for release order. 4. Do picking and post goods issue. 5. Generate invoice for release order. Let's look into the each mentioned flow step in brief in the next slides.
Enter T-code VA41 in command field. Once you have entered, on the contract creation initial screen, you have to select relevant contract type, CQ, or in case of value contract, VK2. A value contract follows the same procedures as a quantity contract. The quantity contract will now be discussed, along with any variations between the two types of contracts. Fill in sales area data in organizational data block. Once you have added the entry on initial screen, hit Enter, and it shall take you the overview page in the next slide. In this screen, you need to enter sold to party / ship to party, customer reference, material number, and target quantity, or in case of value contract, the target value. Once you provide the validity of contract, the contract can be saved. In the next slide, we will look into the next flow step. Enter transaction code VA01. Select order type as OR and go to More Sales Document, Create with Reference. In the next slide, we will look into the contract reference. In this screen, you need to enter the contract number for which you want to create sales order and click on Copy. The system checks whether the partner has permission to release against the contract if the partner authorization check is enabled in customizing. Know that you cannot proceed with executing the release order if the partner is not permitted to release against the contract until you enter a partner who is. A dialog box containing the potential ship-to parties appears if the contract to which the release order refers defines several ship-to parties. The ship-to party who will receive the items must be chosen. Let's look into the contract overview in the upcoming slide. In this slide, you can see that all data was copied from the contract. All the quantities that are not been released yet are displayed. You can change it and save the contract. In the next slide, we'll see how to do delivery for release order. Enter transaction VL01N in the command field. Enter the shipping point and the release order number as displayed in the screenshot. In the next slide, we'll see how to proceed with the delivery for release order. Once you have clicked Enter, the data will be copied into the delivery. Let's proceed with the picking and post goods issue. To do the picking and post goods issues, go to transaction VL02N. Enter the delivery number and in the tab Picking enter the picking quantity. If the picking is completed, post goods issue. In the next slide, we'll see how to generate the invoice for release order. To generate the invoice, go to transaction VF01. Provide the delivery document number and hit Enter. Once you've hit Enter, the system will take you to the Billing Overview screen. In the next slide, we will check the item details of the invoice. In this screen, you can view all the invoice item data details, like pricing details, accounting, and more. You can change the data if required and save the invoice. We can check the status of your contract, which we will cover in the next slide. To check the status of your contract, go to Transaction VA43 and click on Document Flow icon. The status of your contract for quantity is in process. The procedures for a value contract and a quantity contract are the same. You can see the difference on the document flow. Let's cover the value contract in next slide. To check the status of your value contract, go to Transaction VA43 and click on Document Flow icon. The status of your value contract is open, as you can see on the screenshot. In the next slide, let's see which value of contract is released. Go to Transaction Code VA03 and enter the contract number. The Value Contract Display mode provides information on the released values, as shown on the screenshot. Thank you for watching and hope this demo helped you create a sales contract in SAP.